Do you have this but want this? Then you've come to the right channel because today we are going to be making pressed flowers for art. So the finished project should cost under $10. The reason why I started this project was because I wanted to keep some of the flowers in my garden from this year, but this could also work with something like a bouquet from a special occasion like a wedding or a birthday that you just don't want to throw away. And this is what you will need. Some flowers from your garden or store-bought ones. I normally just cut them right under the stem, and then here's our flower ready to be pressed. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process with some other flowers in my garden, and I'll be back. Okay, so here are the flowers that I've collected from my garden along with some lavender. I didn't pick very many today because I already had some pressed that I will be using today, but I just wanted to show you how to press the flowers if you're interested. So for this whole art you'll need glass frame, a pair of scissors, flowers and or leaves or plants that you want to use, heavy book or a flower press, and then some pieces of A4 paper. So now let's move along to pressing flowers. Open the heavy book that you'll be using and then bring out all your beautiful flowers that you want to press. Pick them from the stem that you left at the bottom and simply just place them onto the page without pressing down too much at this point. Just make sure that all the leaves are nice and straight so that it will come out looking good in the end. So I went ahead and repeated the same process with the rest of my flowers, but I've since found a different way of doing the pressing, which is by using A4 paper in between the book pages to dry the flowers. I will be linking some different ways of pressing flowers below. Another thing that I like to do is use some extra weight to place on top of the book to help with pressing the flowers. I usually let it press for anywhere between a few days to a few weeks, but in some cases there will be some plants or flowers that will even require a few months of pressing. Okay, so let's get started and make some pressed flower wall art. I normally like to place my frame on top of a sheet of white paper as it helps with visualizing the finished product better when I'm placing all the different leaves and flowers on the frame. And then I will start out by simply placing down plants, leaves, moss or any other material that I wanted to have in my frame and just move them around and kind of eyeball where I want them to be. But this is kind of how I went about placing all the bits and pieces onto my surface. And some bonus footage of my cat who came to inspect the project. So just go ahead and play around with different placements, and what I like to do before finishing up is closing it and then doing a test where I pick it up and check if anything will fall through without any glue. And if that does happen, I will open it back up, bring out the clear glue, and then just add a tiny little bit onto the back of items that were falling down, and then simply placing them back and pushing very gently onto them so the glue doesn't spill out from the sides. Repeat that process for anything that moved around when you picked up your frame, or otherwise if you like being more cautious, you could just glue everything down so that you don't run into this issue and you don't lose the placement of your plants and flowers. Now that I'm happy with it, I am closing it down, and once again I will be doing the standing test, and it's all good, nothing moved, so I'm quite happy with it. So now I think I will be moving on to some bonus content, and that is pressing flowers and mold. This is something that I recently ran into with one of my previous frames. As you can see here, I had a little dianthus flower that I picked from my garden, and I pressed it, but it obviously wasn't dry enough because I think about 2 weeks after I finished this piece, I noticed that mold was growing inside the frame. Some of it also got onto the fern leaves, so what I will do to deal with it is I will completely remove the dianthus flower that is covered in mold, as well as those 2 moldy leaves on the fern, and then I clean the glass with some alcohol wipes. And then I'm going back to my book of pressed flowers to try and find something to replace it with. I've also achieved this through a trial and error process, and everything seems to be standing on its own, so no glue needed. Okay, so let's look at our finished products. Here they are together in the afternoon sun. I think they came out looking quite nice. So let me know what you thought about this project in the comments down below. And also, if you have any other ideas of crafts you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel, and I will see you next time.